Hey there everybody and welcome to DraftKings. My name is Taron Atkins and we are talking about the English Premier League. Most specifically, we're talking about the aftermath of week 1 of the new season. It was a phenomenal one. It really delivered in spades in my opinion. But who's going to be joining me today? Well, it's the usual legends. It's Jamie Higgs here to my left, staff writer. We've got humorous Andy Davis and we've got our Euro correspondent Edo Del Monte. Gentlemen, that's what I like to call him. He's our Euro correspondent.
Straight from Tirana.
That's the one. Gentlemen, we've got a couple of questions. We've got a couple of things we want to get through. So much happened. A lot of drama, a lot of highs, a lot of surprises. One thing that surprised me was the omission of Joe Hart from the Man City starting lineup. Pep Guardiola's first game in charge, he's left out the England number one, who did have a pretty, shall we say, crap Euros 2016 tournament. And is he paying the price? Is he paying the price? And start with you, Jamie. Joe Hart, what's happened? What's next?
Well, the problem is he can't play football with he can't play well enough with his feet, is what everyone keeps saying, and why Guardiola has dropped him, and that's why. Caballero isn't the answer. They're obviously going to go out and spend a shitload of money on someone else. But Hart, I have an interesting theory on this because I think he's going to end up somewhere in the Premier League, I think, and it basically comes down to which teams does Pep actually regard as a rival? Because I mean, at this stage you could see Liverpool coming in for him because Mignolet is not good enough for them. Karius is going to take a couple of seasons to get up to speed with things, and I mean, there's a gap there. I mean, how much does Joe Hart really realistically go for? Is he really above £20 million as a goalkeeper after that summer? I'm not so sure. I'd look around sort of 15 to 18 million, even in this market. And City will go out and spend 35 million on Ter Stegen. Other than that, I had an interesting theory that maybe he might end up somewhere like, I don't know, Stoke, where he's going to have to make a lot of saves because he's a good shot stopper. He's just not.
This is an interesting point, Jamie, because is he better than what they've already got? Say somewhere like Stoke. Is he better than Butland? Is he better than Fraser Forster at Southampton?
It would be Butland to go somewhere, I don't know, like Spurs, for example, because I do really rate Butland, and then Lloris obviously to go somewhere for a lot of money. That would be how it would happen, I think.
Right. So I mean, Joe Hart, is he no longer head and shoulders above the rest? Sorry, use a pun. I don't think he's the best English goalkeeper by a long stretch, in my opinion. Edo, what do you think of this?
No, he's been overtaken. I mean, all the rumours we're hearing that Allardyce will be starting Forster once we play in qualities. At least that's what the grapevine would have us think. And yeah, it's true. I mean, many possibilities have been mentioned about Joe Hart, but no, he certainly isn't the number one. And until he can get used to that system. I mean, what's quite worrying here is that remember when Victor Valdez was Barcelona goalkeeper and Guardiola had just taken over? Valdez wasn't really the kind of goalkeeper who was unanimously liked, and yet he stuck with him, probably because he knew how to play the ball out, and he sort of worked on his confidence. Here you find Joe Hart immediately being dropped to the bench in favour of Caballero, who is probably old enough to be my father. So it's a little bit concerning. I don't think he's the number one anymore. He can certainly get back there, but especially if City end up buying, who is it? Is it Bravo from Barcelona?
Yeah, I think Bravo, Ter Stegen, Rui Patricio has been mentioned too.
Rui Patricio.
There's a list.
That's a really good choice, actually. Yeah, it's a little bit worrying.
Okay, Edo, I think everyone around this table is old enough to be your father. The thing is, Andy Davis, is he good enough to stay at Man City? I mean, are we all jumping the gun here that he's actually going to leave just because he's been dropped after one game? Pep said nothing. Joe Hart's kept his mouth shut. Is he actually leaving? Or what? And if
he's not good enough to stay at City because of the way Guardiola teams play. He wants a sweeper keeper. Joe Hart isn't a sweeper keeper, so Guardiola's got no reason to be sentimental with him and say, you've won the league with us the last couple of times, so stay. You're number one. This club needs an English goalkeeper. He'll just get rid of him. I think Liverpool's a good shout. I think that'd be a good fit for him. But then I don't know. I mean, Liverpool like to play the high press as well, and that kind of involves a sweeper keeper as well because it's a similar system to what Spurs play. The other thing, look, I remember Paul Robinson was touted as being the next Peter Shilton and was fantastic for England for a couple of years. Had a shocker against Croatia and he never recovered and just sort of sailed down the leagues. I could see a similar thing happening with Joe Hart. He seems to be a confidence player, and we had an issue a couple of years ago with his confidence, and he's sort of recovered, but it was never the same keeper as before. And I think if this happens, he loses his England place. I think we could be starting to watch the beginning of the sort of steady demise of Joe Hart. And he could quite feasibly end up a kind of mid-table goalkeeper for the rest of his career.
So is this the case then that alongside his hairline, his actual Premier League career is going to diminish as well? The jury here says yes, it might be the end of days for Joe Hart. What do you think? We shall find out.